We're almost there. This is the day before the last day in this whole series. I'm super hyped to be finishing this up because I got a whole bunch of awesome content for you guys that's going to be coming in February, and I'm going to be staying with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday upload schedule as best as I can. If I find that my time starts going elsewhere on other projects like the community and stuff for you guys, then I might have to slim it down a bit, but my goal is to keep that 3-a-week cadence. Also, before we get into it, just want to say thank you guys for the support. If you've been watching all the way from the beginning, I appreciate that. If you haven't already, subscribe, leave a like. And also, I just started a community. It's completely free for people that are beginners and want to learn how to get into cybersecurity and have a clear path so they know what to do and how to do it. It's called Cyber Ninja Community. It's linked in the description, so go check it out if that's something that's interested for you. I'm Aaron, aka Cyber Sensei. Let's hop into day 23. Bit of a short one, but it's definitely gonna be fun. So we'll read the story here. Funds his shady operations for quite some time. Recently, the mayor disposed of various old electronic equipment. One was an old tablet with a cracked screen, but an avid connoisseur of active and passive reconnaissance who does not mind dumpster diving for the garbage truck. Surprisingly, despite being in terrible condition with a cracked and hazy screen, the tablet still turns on. Browsing through the various files, one PDF file that caused attention was password protected. It is time you work with Glitch to discover the password and uncover any evidence lurking there. So it looks like we're going to be cracking some passwords today. Today's learning objectives: we're going to learn about hash functions and hash values. We're going to learn how to save hashed passwords. Then we're going to actually crack these hashes. And then we're going to find the password of a password protected document. So pretty cool stuff. And here we go. We get an intro into what hashing actually is. So if you're not familiar how your passwords are saved, typically when you enter it or sign up for anything, it's usually hashed by the SHA-256 algorithm. They do have higher ones which are more secure, but typically SHA-256 is the most commonly used right now. And so how the function actually works is, you can see right here, it takes an input of any size and returns a fixed size value. So the string is going to be equal to 256 bits. For example here, the SHA-256 algorithm creates a 256-bit hash value, which I just said. And it will return that hash value regardless of the input that you give it. Regardless how long it is, it's always going to be a max value of 256 bit. So in the terminal below, they demonstrate what it looks like to hash a 2.3 gigabyte file. So you can see here the size of it's 2.3 gigabyte. It's this ISO file for Fedora Workstation, and then it spits it out right here. And then they give you a file that is like 13 bytes and it's the same length, right? So you can see here, no matter what, the hash is always going to be the same length, always going to be equal to 256 bits, no matter the input you give it. So instead of saving the password in plain text, what happens is we store it as this hash. And this way, it's more difficult to know like what it is, right? Like if you just looked at this hash right here, you'd be like, okay, that's cool. Random gibberish. What do I do with this? But that's the point, right? We don't want to store passwords in plain text because then it's just really obvious. So here's another hashing function called MD5, which is retired just because of the size just isn't as big. There's not as much combinations to be done, which leads to collision. What collision is essentially two different inputs having the same hash, and then this can lead to issues with verification, authentication, and also integrity of the data. So that's why we use SHA-256, because that doesn't happen there. Password protected files. On day 14, we saw how malware intercepted network data to eavesdrop on the village. Technically speaking, he was attacking the confidentiality and integrity of data in transit. Today we will explore how to view his password protected document. And this is data at rest, so confidentiality of data at rest. So this section just talks about password files and why they're important. So pretty much if you didn't want someone to access some private information you have, you slap a password on it, and boom, you now have to type the password every time you want to access that file. So here is a list of passwords that are commonly used, and this will probably hurt your soul seeing that password is number 2 if you're a cybersecurity professional like me. Like, bruh, password. I know you're out there. I know you're watching this video right now and you have a password that is password. I know, trust. But moving on. Of course, users might get a little bit creative and they might replace some characters like a number, exclamation point, the year, their birthday, things like this. All highly predictable. So today all we're going to do is boot up the machine, which I've already done. And we're going to log in and start our hands-on portion. I'm going to boot up the split screen. What we're going to do now is pretty simple. I was going to talk a little bit about how we're going to discover the password hash that he's using on his PDF document. Looks like Glitch did some OSINT, which is open source intelligence gathering, and we were able to retrieve the mayor's password in hashed format because his forum was breached and all his user data was leaked. So this was online. This is the hash that he was using. And so if you wanted to do the same thing, right? Like if you wanted to see if your email or your password have been like breached or exposed to the dark web, you can come to this website, Have I Been Pwned. They have domains, they have passwords, and then they have an email address that you can put in here. So we'll go to passwords. Then you can just, I'm the best 123. Let's just say that's your password. Exclamation point, right? Boom, put that in. And it will say, oh no, you've been pwned. And then it will show you where and how many times you've been exposed. And you can see here, oh, it used to show you like the sources. Oh, maybe that's if you have an account. So if you sign up, it'll show you like the sources and where it was breached, what company actually let your data get breached and all that stuff. But yeah, pretty cool site, good to check often. But back to the task at hand, we have this hash right here, which we need to understand. First of all, what hash it is, like what algorithm they used to generate this hash to then start being able to even crack it. So what we're going to use a tool called hashid.py that they've provided us. So we're going to ls over here, and we're going to cd into the AOC directory. And we have the hash.txt, the PDF, the word list, and we have example files. So what we're going to do is run the hashid.py. That's going to boot up, and then we want to paste the actual hash in there, and then it gives us its guess. So SHA-256. I mean, it looks pretty right to me. So now we know it's SHA-256, right? So we can close out of that. And then, so rocku.txt, what that is, right? So when the internet first became a thing, right? A bunch of people aggregated all the passwords from breaches that they had seen on the dark web and put all the passwords and hashes that were seen. It was like over 1 billion or 2 billion different passwords in there, and they put it into this list, right, called rocku.txt. And this is one of the most famous password lists, and it's still used to this day just because of the sheer amount of passwords that are in there, and it's actually continually updated. So if you went out and tried to get the most recent version, it probably has close to like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 billion passwords in there. And so what you do is you would run a word, and they're going to talk a little bit about this, like right here, they're talking about it. So let's just go into it, right? So here is the command that we're using, right? We're using John. This is John the Ripper, right? It's a password cracking tool. The other one that's most commonly used is Hashcat. So John the Ripper and Hashcat are the most common ones right now. And what we're doing is we're specifying the format to be SHA-256. So we're telling John, hey, this is a SHA-256 hash. And then we're specifying the word list we want to use against it. And so how this attack actually, and then the files right here. And so how this attack actually works is John is basically going line by line in this and comparing the hash to this hash. Because the rockq.txt has the associated password to the hash, if we find a match in these two, then we know what the password is, right? So there's no way to reverse a hashing algorithm. The only way to know what the actual password is by hashing a password and comparing that hash to the hash you have. And then that way you can tell, like, okay, this is what I hashed to get this same hash, so now this must be the actual password. And that's how this works, right? That's how this attack works. It's brute forcing password, right? By combining every single hash in rocky.txt to the hash we have until we find a match. If there is no match, then we do not get the actual password of the hash. Let's go ahead and copy that and let's go ahead and run it and see what we get. It took 12 seconds to run that. Here, there's a high chance that malware has made some transformation to his password. For example, he might have replaced A with 4 or added a couple of digits to his password. John can start from a long password list and attempt various common derivations from each of the passwords. To increase its chances of success, this behavior can be triggered through the use of rules. Various rules come bundled with John the Ripper's configuration file. One is suited for lengthy word lists. We're going to add this. And what this command does is it actually does substitutions for us. So instead, so where an A is, it'll add like an at. If there's an I there, it'll add exclamation point. There's an S there, it'll put a money sign. And this way we're getting more variation in our password comparison versus just exactly what's on the list. Because, you know, think about it. If you had the password, right? But your password was password with an at sign and an exclamation point, it wouldn't, and then we were comparing it against just password regularly written, it wouldn't match. So that's why we have to add these variations in. It gives us more of a scope to compare against, so that way we can have a better chance at actually cracking the password. So this is the new command. It's pretty much the same command, we're just adding the rules in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom, it's running, and we'll let that run and keep reading on. So we should note that John will not spend computing resources to crack an already cracked password hash. Consequently, if you repeat a command that has successfully found a password earlier, it will just say that there's no passwords left to crack. So let's say to execute a command, and oh, it actually did find the password, by the way. And let's see, it took 6 more seconds to actually get the password this time. So we can see what the password is, fluffycat12. And then if we wanted to see a history of cracked passwords, every time we crack a password in John, it's going to remember the hash that we cracked, what password is associated to it, so that in the future it doesn't need to waste its compute resources by redoing that cracking, which is what we just read right here. So Glitch has discovered malware's password used on the breach online forum. Although there is a high chance that this password will be used to access other online accounts created by malware, Glitch does not want to go that route as it would violate the local laws and regulations. Instead of attempting anything legal, he focused to just unlock the PDF pretty much. So what we need to do is convert the password protected file into a format that John can attack. Luckily, John the Ripper Jumbo Edition comes with necessary tools. The different tools follow the naming style. Format to John. The terminal shows below the example. So this is all the things that you can convert to John's format to pretty much break their password. And we're interested in this one, right? The Perl script for PDF to John. So we're making a PDF compatible with the format that John uses to crack. And this is the command we're gonna run, right? So let's do that. PDF to John .pl, and we're going to call it private.pdf, which is the file name, and then we're going to call it PDF hash. Boom. We've run it, ls, and we see it right here, PDF hash. So now we can cat that out and see what that file actually holds, and there it is. It's very long. Okay, the first step is considered would be trying the word list such as rockq.txt. You might even use a rule such as rules wordlist to test derived passwords. In this case, neither approach works. So they actually did the heavy lifting for us. They found out that what we did to find the previous password doesn't actually work. So we have to try a new approach here. And malware has picked a password that does not exist in these public word lists and is not derived from any word found there. Knowing malware, we see what he holds dear, which can hint at what he would consider his password. Therefore, you need to create your own word list with the following words: fluffy, fluffy cat, mare, malware, mare, malware. And I believe they already provided this. So if we cat word list, yeah, it's right there. So we're going to be using this in this word list versus the rocky.txt word. And here is the command we're using. So go ahead and run that. And boom, we have found the password is mare malware with a bunch of substitutions in there. And now we can successfully unlock the PDF. Let's get to answering the questions here. So check the hash value stored in hash.txt. So to get the first flag, type in John, specifying the format of SHA-256, show hash1.txt because it's already cracked. Boom, fluffy cat 12. The next one is the flag on top of the private PDF file. So what we're going to do to get the actual flag here from the PDF is you're going to want to use that password that we just cracked for the document using the PDF hash file, which is right here. It's mare malware. If you did like clear your screen or something, or you can't find it, you would use this command right here, John show pdf.hash, and this is going to show you the cracked hash, what the value is, and then you can use it. And then we're going to use that command that we get from the hint, which is pdf to text, and then we're going to just copy this in there and hit enter. And then what we can do is we want to cat out private.txt and then pipe a grep on there and look for thm, and then we'll get the flag. Boom. So that's how you would do it. To recap, we learned how to crack passwords using the Rocky word list, and then we actually broke into a locked PDF file by brute forcing the password so we can figure out what it was, and then we decrypted it, and then we get this flag right here. So overall, pretty fun day. Red team focus. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Again, I did start a free cybersecurity community. The link is in the description, so if you're interested in learning more about cybersecurity and actually getting into cybersecurity as a role, then go ahead and go check that out. I'm updating that thing like every day, and feedback is super critical. I want to make it the best group out there. So I'll see you guys in there, and CyberSensei Aaron out. Peace.